Hello my friends, this is Mehmet Kara and I'm sure you're curious to see my portfolio update for July. I'm again with you and this month I'm gonna share not only my P2P lending portfolio but also the other asset classes that I'm invested in. For sure the trending topic this month in July were the financial statements of the companies. Most of them released them, some of them brought good news for us and some of them bad news. But let's jump into my portfolio update. So there are some important updates in my portfolio in this month. First, I have added a new platform to my portfolio. On the second place, I have new investment assets class, which I'm gonna talk about later in my review. So stay in my review to see the new asset classes that I'm investing in. Okay, I'll start my review again traditionally with Mintos. Although I'm not much satisfied with this company, as you already know, I have started withdrawing my funds from there. But currently I have 38% of my investments in Mintos and 66% of my passive income was coming from this company in July. The news in Mintos, they finally admitted that the pending payments are actually, biggest part of them is the funds in recovery. When we talk about the funds in recovery, which is the most interesting topic there, I have seen just about 10 euro from my funds in recovery, or this is just 5% of them. They came from Cash Wagon. Mintos also released their financial report for 2019. Although it's relatively late to see it, because now we are mid 2020, and to see it for 2019, I cannot say that this is a very quick information and the status is up to date, but still I'm not satisfied with their financial report. We can see that they have increased their costs, which is a trend actually, not only from 2019 but also from 2018, with opening new offices and new branches in Germany, in Latvia and so on. We can see that Mintos has really large costs and it couldn't cover them with the revenue. Although this is a startup company and it's normal to be not profitable in the first years, I see some negative trends here. So this is why I continue withdrawing my funds, but of course this is not the main reason for that. The main reason are the loan originators, which are in bad condition and not paying back their buyback guarantees. And here is my portfolio in Mintos. You can see I had a very high return on investment, but I have withdrawn a large part of my investments in Mintos, about 30%. And as I said, I will continue until I have there just 1k euro invested. And I will continue the diversification of my portfolio even further. I move on to Bondora, the second largest fund in my portfolio. Bondora has 28% from my portfolio in Go and Grow and 3% from my portfolio in Portfolio Pro. Again, I continued my trend with not investing more in Portfolio Pro. I left it just by 100 euro and I reinvest all of the earnings from Portfolio Pro to Bondora Go and Grow. And the both of them are responsible for 24% of my passive income for July. I will continue with the news in Bondora. Actually, Bertel Thunberg, their CEO, had a Q&A session. I made a very short summary of this Q&A session for you so that you stay updated with the news.
2019 was our third year of profitability. Most importantly, our community has now grown to more than 120,000 investors all across Europe. Since we started in 2009, the community has invested more than 370 million and earned more than 40 million. We at Bondora are really thankful for your continued support. In 2019, Bondora increased its revenues from 10 million to 20 million euro. And despite this fast growth, we're able to deliver an 11% net profit margin. That works out to roughly 2.3 million euro. We are going to reinvest all of the profits back into the company to make sure we continue growing sustainably. As a precaution at the start of the Corona crisis, we decided to temporarily stop landing outside of Estonia. We are going to reassess the situation in September and then decide when are we going to reintroduce Finnish loans and Spanish loans to the marketplace. We have not had partial payouts since early June. So right now, if you withdraw from your account on Go and Grow, you will receive the money instantly on your bank account.
Actually, the trend has continued, but I mean the trend that they are not issuing loans from other countries than Estonia. This has continued. The secondary market is again working quite well for me. I have sold a big part of my new issued loans on the secondary market with a premium. And this is why I had almost 40% return on investment on Portfolio Pro. But there are several reasons why I'm not increasing this portfolio. You can check this also in my previous portfolio updates. The Bondora Go and Grow, we have positive news there. Finally, the partial payouts have finished and you are able to withdraw the whole sum of your portfolio that you want to withdraw without any delays. Now I go on to PeerBerry. They have a 9% share at my portfolio with a 20% increase in this single month in July. I'm again satisfied with the results of this company. I published a platform review for PeerBerry in this month. In case you didn't see it, here is a link to the video with all of the pros and cons for investing in PeerBerry. And actually I haven't changed my mind. I'm continuing investing in PeerBerry, although there is some lack in the auto investment future, but in the last days I can say that almost all of the time my free cash is invested. So I'm continuing there with my positive return on investment from 9.5%. When we talk about the news in PeerBerry, they also published their financial statement and it looks quite well. Here you can see more details. PeerBerry counts for 9% of my portfolio, as I mentioned before, and it brought me 7% of my passive income. So it's near the average return on investment that I have from my whole portfolio. I'm going on to ReInvest24, my favorite investment platform when we talk about real estate. This month I made, actually just a few days ago, I published my interview with their CEO, Tanel Oro. You can check it here in case you missed it. It was quite interesting. You can find out more about the company genesis and also about the new products they are planning to launch. Also I made a platform review, also the link is here for ReInvest24. My experience investing there was again positive. My rental income from the high yielding office space in Rocca al Mare grew again, and if you check my interview you will get the reason why this is growing. But now I know that 66 cents will be the maximum for my investment with 107 euro in this property. Also, the new type of project that I'm invested in, the development project, didn't bring me any passive income this month, but this was expected because, as I said last month, it will start bringing passive income, interest payments from August. So in my next P2P portfolio update, you can see how exactly I have for my 100 shares there. So ReInvest24 has a 5% in my portfolio and it brought me 2% of my passive income. Now I'm going on to the next platform that I have added this month to my portfolio. This is Iuvo Group. I started there with just 100 euro, as I start with any new platform, and I started just at the end of this month so that I can have more accurate data for the next monthly review. That's all for Iuvo and for my P2P portfolio. Although it is the biggest part of my portfolio, it's about 87% of my whole portfolio. Now I have investments in other asset classes. I continue with the US stocks. The US stocks are currently about 6% of my portfolio. I have there different shares. Here you can see the exact shares that I'm invested in. Also, I received my first dividend payment from my Coca-Cola investment, which is again certainly a nice feeling when getting dividends. It's like money for nothing, like I say in my dividend video. More about the stocks I will talk in my next videos, so you can stay in my channel. You can subscribe if you are new here and like the video to support my channel and to see more videos like this. The next asset classes that I have included in my portfolio, this one is completely new. I didn't have investments there before. This is the gold investment. I did it mainly with the funds that I have withdrawn from Mintos. I have an investment in gold, which is about 6% for my portfolio. For now, the gold is continuing to increase its prices and it even hit record highs. But my plan is not to sell the gold when it gets even more expensive, but to hold it longer and to keep it about 7.5% from my portfolio, like it's in the all-weather portfolio strategy from Ray Dalio. The next asset class that I have is the crypto asset class. This is the Bitcoin. Actually, I'm holding Bitcoin. It's about 1% of my portfolio since the end of last year, when Bitcoin was relatively expensive. Then it lost some of its value, but today it's even more expensive than before I bought it. I'm considering in buying some other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum in the next months. So follow my updates to see the outcome of my crypto investments. And I have invested in one other precious metal, which is silver. I just bought 1 ounce to have it also in my portfolio included. So now I have 87% of my portfolio in P2P in lending. You can see the picture here. Yeah, as you can see, it's more diversified than the last month, definitely. And like I said, the trend will be that the portfolio will change in its structure, so that I will have more in the US stock market invested and a little bit less in P2P lending markets. Also, this month I had a 4% increase in my portfolio, which is highly more than my 1 or 2% target. So thank you for following my updates. See you again with my next video.